middle school, and we want to repopulate oysters in the Hudson River. So before we hit you with the facts, we want to give you a clear idea of what our sustainable solution is. These are rotten stumps in the Hudson River dating back to the 1800s. They're just there, decaying, and serve absolutely no purpose. So we want to make a use out of them. When you look out your window from Newport, Exchange Place, Port Liberty, or Paulus Hook, do you want to see rotten stumps or beautiful oyster greenery? Don't you want to beautify our neighborhood, everyone's neighborhood, the biggest neighborhood in Jersey City, the Hudson River? These stumps are also adding absolutely no property value to any of our community's homes by the waterfront. But if our view improves, property values will rise. The Hudson River contained almost 90% of the world's oyster population before we killed them all. For the past several hundred years, we've been killing the life out of our river, building piers right on top of the oyster reefs we are now trying to restore. And this is why we need to take action now. But we have some good news. Only 6 months ago, a 9-inch, 2-pound oyster was found growing on a piling in Pier 40 in Manhattan. It made headlines. It was on the front page of the New York Times. And if we ignore these headlines, we're ignoring the fact that we can make our community more sustainable and resilient, but we aren't. But what is a piling? This is a piling. The wooden poles underneath a pier that lead into the water. We want to test our original geometric solution and use the sunken pier stumps to create a flourishing oyster habitat in the Hudson River. Look at all of these articles about the Brilliant Oyster Project reestablishing oysters in the river in New York.
Well, the goal is to restore a sustainable oyster population into New York City and in the process connect hundreds of thousands of young people.
If they can do it, why can't we? They're in every article, every newspaper, every news website. If New York can do it, why can't we?
Why oysters? Oysters are filter feeders, or in other words, they naturally filter water. Adult oysters can filter 5 liters or 1.3 gallons of water per hour. They filter water by pumping water through their gills while eating. Oysters are a permanent solution to water pollution. Oyster babies or spats like to stick to old oyster shells, and these shells stick together to form oyster reefs. We're planning on using eastern oysters, which are native to the Atlantic Ocean, because they're really fast at reproducing. We're hoping that using these species will help our reefs grow even faster and make the Hudson River cleaner in no time. But not only do oysters filter water at great speeds, but they also have numerous other benefits. For example, they create a hard floor for marine life to have shelter. Oysters also decrease sedimentation in the water. Due to global warming, storms such as hurricanes and floods will become a bigger problem in Jersey City. But we have a solution. Nature has a solution. And that is once again oysters. Oyster reefs are living breakwaters, and what they do is that they absorb the wave energy before it hits the shore. That means they save us from these storms. Oysters are a sustainable and resilient solution.
Organizations like the Brilliant Oyster Project, NJ Baykeeper, and Reefball Foundation have already started working on establishing oysters in the Hudson River. The Brilliant Oyster Project used reef balls to establish natural oyster reefs. These reef balls are shaped like hollow domes with holes in them. The Brilliant Oyster Project even partnered with their local restaurants to recycle used oyster shells and incorporate them into their reef ball designs. If we are able to make our project a reality, we would definitely be able to do the same with our local Jersey City restaurants by the waterfront. The method of using reef balls is not only used by the Brilliant Oyster Project, but it's also used by many other organizations all over the world, and it has shown a lot of success. Others use the method of nets, where oysters are placed in the nets as groups, and as these oysters grow, they will also expand into natural oyster reefs. Finally, this is the method of using cages, or more specifically gabion cages, where oysters are placed in these cages and the cages go on top of the river. When the oysters are fully grown and are able to survive on their own, they will be released.
Our solution is to test our original and durable new designs to repopulate oysters in the Hudson River. We want to adapt existing technology to reduce sedimentation from the river, and also use sunken pier stumps to anchor down the reefs. Changing the shape of the reef ball or gabion cage can effectively repopulate the oyster population in the river and reduce sedimentation.
We are going to use the engineering process to create a prototype, test it, and experiment with other variables in your design and later redesign to improve it. We are inspired by the Bernoulli's principle, which describes how geometry can affect the fluids around it. We hope this decreases sedimentation and increases the chances of the survival for the oysters.
We want to ask questions such as size, shape, or orientation affect sedimentation. Does either point on the parallelogram reduce sedimentation upstream or downstream? Does the elevation of the pier reduce oyster lifespan?
To make sure if our geometric designs are suitable for the conditions in the river, we did a riverbed experiment. We also used a computer simulation to test our design. Using the simulation, we were also able to predict how the sedimentation will affect our model in the river. A specific example that we tested was our triangular reef bar design. Based on our riverbed experiment and our computer simulation, it was proven to be very durable. Here you can see how the sedimentation will move with the respect of our model. As it moves, it will go around our model instead of just piling on top of the oysters. But triangles aren't the only designs that we tested. We also tested shapes like circles, parallelograms, and applied the Bernoulli's principle. Based on all of these facts, our designs for the model are very effective for the conditions in the river.
We contacted Sustainable Oceans International, Reef Ball Foundation, Building Oyster Project, and 500 Women Scientists. All the organizations showed positive and supportive responses. Specifically, Ms. McKenna Haney from 500 Women Scientists said that using our South-Trace triangle will benefit our design and limit the sedimentation in our river. Also, Tard Barber from Reef Ball Foundation said that our team can qualify as a Reef Ball authorized contractor, but we can't make our design a reality without some help.
We want guidance. Please help us establish a grant for partnership with Jersey City Public School students through the Office of Sustainability.
While researching, we saw no grants involving students in Jersey City. Most grants in Jersey City involve housing development. Offering a grant to students will give positive press. We want a partnership with students from public schools and real scientists to have an authentic experience solving real-world problems. We want a partnership between universities such as Rutgers and Stockton and possibly the Billion Oyster Project since they've had experience in repopulating oysters.
Thank you!